Browne Show. Every Tuesday night at 6, you can tune in to Power 107.5 with Aggie announcers Barry Galloway, John Gladden, and Keith Ball, live at Local Joes in Albertville. For the next hour, Aggie head coach Bert Browne will be joined by Aggie coaches and Albertville players, and we'll talk Aggie football. Now let's go live to Local Joes in Albertville here on Power 107.5.
And welcome to Local Joe's here in downtown Albertville. It's a Tuesday after having a week off last week. Back with you again. Coach Browne joining us. First of all, Coach, did you have a good week off last week?
Well, we did. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Did you get a vacation, get out of town, or just relax?
One of my buddies, Tommy Moffitt, is he played at Tennessee Tech. He's the strength coach at Texas A&M. He was the strength coach for 22 years at LSU. And Brian Kelly.
Players here for the national anthem. And the playing of the national anthem, they always do that at lunch, 12 o'clock, and at 6 every evening. Back to you, Coach. Now you had a chance to go to A&M.
Yeah, and so on Tuesday, I asked Ashley if she would want to go if I could get us tickets. And so I got up with Tommy and just said, hey, we're on fall break. Can you get me a couple tickets? He said, yeah. So we went down there, and, man, that's a very impressive very, very. It's the nicest. I've been into the Bengals Stadium, the Titans, 7 or 8 SEC stadiums, and there's nothing like it. I mean, they're going to be hard to handle, buddy, if they can get that thing going.
We could use some of that booster money around here, couldn't we?
They sure got it down there now. That's a different.
So I just want to know, I've always, one of my bucket list things to do is not necessarily go to an A&M game, but they actually have Yale practice on Friday night where they get all of them over and they teach them how to yell.
No, we were going to do that, but man, we were tired. It's a midnight deal. And so we didn't go. We're teachers, man. We're tired.
Well, we haven't talked to you since the last game, the Grissom game. Let's go back to the Grissom game real quick. Halftime lead. Grissom came out, took over in the second half. What do you think changed in the second half?
Well, we fell on 3 fumbles and they spit out and we didn't get them.
Yeah.
And then, we have to get those. We're not good enough. If the other team serves up a turnover, we got to get it, and we fell on them and they spit out and we didn't get them. And then the halftime, we've been working on a sky kick. We told our kids at halftime it was beautiful. It was the best one I've ever been associated with. I've never seen a better sky kick than what he kicked, and it checked up like a Tiger Woods pitching wedge, and the 2 guys that are responsible for getting it just
ran past it.
Yeah.
And, just ran past it.
I was in disbelief really, and that was kind of sickening, because we get the ball right there, go down and score. It's 21-13 our lead, and everything changes then. Now they press and they're but man, those are the things that we got to do. Those are 4 possessions right there that we could easily have. I'm not talking about, it's not a hard thing to fall on a fumble, and it's not a hard thing to reach up a half a foot and get a football that's right on the top of your head. And it's not like we didn't go over all that stuff. Those are the things that it's disheartening as a coach when you talk about it all the time. Here's what we're doing. This is going to happen. This blah, 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 blah. And then you don't do it, and we just we don't get that right there. And we don't execute some things. And, for the most part, I thought we played pretty good defense. But when turnovers present themselves, you have to get them.
You finally had the one to scoop and score, so you need more plays like that. That was a big play for us.
Most definitely. That was a huge play, and that was exciting. But we had our opportunities to get turnovers and didn't do it. But when you have the opportunity, especially with us, we need breaks, and they gave us some breaks, and we just didn't get them.
Coach, it looked like too. Kind of coming out of the gate, one thing that just kind of surprised me is they had a big offensive line. Mm-hmm. I don't think they were the biggest, nor do I think they were the most physical that we faced all year. But, let's face it, those guys were still pretty big up front. And I think I even made the comment on the radio that they weren't as fleet of foot as an Athens or a Sparkman, but they could still come at you, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like after the halftime or coming out of halftime locker room that they kind of just – started doing some more direct snaps to that big quarterback, just getting behind that big offensive line. And I call it playing some big boy football at the line of scrimmage. How do you, when you look at that and Derek Martin looks at that, how do you get your guys to respond? Now, I know they're bigger than we are, but how do you get them to respond in there?
Well, one of the things Derek told the kids at halftime, if we can stop number 2, we win the football game. And, we didn't. And I think we held them to 4 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And that's with, of course, some sacks here, and that takes away this and takes away that. So, just some different things there. But as far as defensively, I thought we played pretty well. Mm-hmm. We gave up some big plays, and they got 2 really, really good receivers, and their quarterback, he's much improved from last year, and he looked good. I was watching that film, I guess Saturday morning, or over the weekend when I got back, and again, and I was like, man, this kid is not bad. He's got a chance because he's a good sized kid. He might play at some level of quarterback in college.
What about some of your players? I know Hunter Smith had, I thought, a heck of a game.
Yeah, he did. Hunter had a real good game defensively and offensively, and he really played well. And, I think Hunter is one of those guys that on a Friday night you can count on him making some plays. Mm-hmm. He made some big plays.
Yeah, I tell you who, another one that we called name coming out of the linebacker corps, Peyton Jones had a whale of a game. I think he had 6, 8, 9 tackles by the time we got through with the end of the night. And it's funny because last year he was playing safety, moved up into that linebacker role, and it's like it took him a little while, but now it seems like to me that position's really clicked with him. Like because it's different when you're at a safety position and then you get up there a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. That's a whole different deal.
Yeah, he gained about 20 pounds over the off season, and so he has much improved at that position, and it's kind of he's starting to see things better. Because when you first get down there and you're in all that mess.
Trash.
It's a different deal from being a safety to a linebacker. So he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
What about some of your injuries? I know Jude, a fan, has been hurt for quite a few weeks. Jude, he was dressed out. Is he going to be back?
No, Jude will not. Jude won't play this week probably. Gotcha. And CJ's got a concussion. He's in protocol. He's going to go tomorrow and see, but he probably won't play. Kobe Watson hurt his back of his shoulder yesterday in practice. So I don't know if he'll play or not. And of course, Jakari just had knee surgery, so we'll see.
Coach, you got these guys that, I used to always think that whether it was high school or college, that, getting a week off sometimes can be a blessing. Sometimes it can be a curse because you get to where, it's kind of nice to sit around and watch TV and eat moon pies and all that stuff in the afternoon. So quick question, because football's a long, grueling season. I mean, you guys have been out there since July. Then you come through August. Now you come through September, and you finally get to that portion of the fall break. Talk about you had the off week, and now you're coming back to practice. Mentally, physically, what's the team looking like as they come out of that off week?
Well, I've done this about everywhere I've been. I've tried to time it up, tried to time our open date up with fall break. And when Dr. Reeves got the job, I asked him if he could wait until our schedule got fixed to find out. He told me, hey, in October, anytime there in early October. So we fixed it up and got it in there, and we're able to we practiced on Monday, and we did some stuff Tuesday morning, and I gave them off the whole week and trying to rejuvenate everybody, coaches, and get everybody away from it. I think sometimes it's good for you. And came back and had a good practice Monday and had a good practice today, and just got to finish the week tomorrow really for our last really hard practice. So, I think sometimes it's good to get away.
Yeah, it seems like they've come back rejuvenated now a little bit of time
well,
off.
Kind of never know about our guys. I mean, our juice is a different level sometimes, and and it's tough when you go through a grueling season and you haven't won a game yet. And, it can be mentally taxing on everybody.
One more thing on the Grissom game: the weather, the wind. That was. Have you played in many games like that? The wind was unbelievable.
Yeah, I know it's kind of crazy, but I mean,
for both teams, I know.
Yeah.
How did that affect your offense play calling any at all?
We felt like we could do some things throwing the ball against them, and because we don't run the ball very well, and especially with Jakari being out, starting a freshman tailback, so. It is one of those deals where if we can just get the turnovers that are presented to us, it's a totally different game. And, that's kind of the story of our season. It's the same thing at Sparkman. There was 3 or 4 plays in that Sparkman game that if we just do our job, nothing superhuman. It's nothing that you have to do great. Just do your job. We stop 3 or 4 touchdowns that they don't have. So things like that. We've just got to learn. We got so many young guys running around out there. We got to learn to make those plays when they're presented to us.
Coach, we'll take a quick timeout, come back and talk with some of the players, let you grab something to eat. We'll take a timeout. It's the Coach Bert Browne Show here on Power 107.5.
Attention, North Alabama. Drew Epperson here with Sand Mountain Toyota. Are you in the market for a new ride? Look no further than Sand Mountain Toyota, where excellence meets affordability. From sleek sedans to powerful trucks and SUVs, each Toyota is a 5-star favorite, and even our pre-owned inventory is guaranteed to exceed your expectations. Come see me or give me a call at 256-878-0789 and say you want to drive with Drew, where customer satisfaction drives me.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones, your hometown trusted choice insurance agency. Randy Jones and Associates knows the playing field, and we have been proudly serving communities across North Alabama for 46 years. Having the right protection on the field is important. The RJA team of experienced agents will help you find affordable, customized insurance coverage for your family, business, and future. Stop by a local Randy Jones Associates office for a free, no-obligation quote or complimentary policy review.
Albertville Discount Pharmacy has been providing prescription and healthcare needs to the Sand Mountain area for over 30 years. With 3 pharmacists, Amy Honey, Brett Hogan, and Eddie Campbell, you will feel the confidence their staff provides. They want to be your pharmacy. Phone 256-878-1515 or come by Albertville Discount Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy at 422 North Broad Street in Albertville.
Touchdown on savings this week at Foodland Plus in Albertville. Preferred Angus beef boneless ribeye steak, family pack $11.99 a pound. Fresh 73% lean ground beef, $3.29 a pound. White, red, or black seedless grapes, $1.99 a pound. U.S. #1 jumbo Idaho potatoes, 8-pound bag, $4.99 each. Oscar Mayer bologna, red rind original or super thick, 16 ounce, $2.99 each. Coke or Dr. Pepper products, 6-pack half-liter bottles, 3 for $12 at Foodland Plus in Albertville.
And welcome back to Local Joes in downtown Albertville. Barry Galloway, John Gladden. Everybody, Keith Ball off tonight. I think he's getting ready for some chickens.
He is. I don't know exactly how you prep for chickens, but I think we're preparing for chickens.
And we've got some special guests with us now, Jonathan. And Coach Brown's going to enjoy some ribs as soon as they come out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
So who's going first? Who do you want to talk to first, John? I'll let you pick.
No, I'll let you pick.
No, go ahead.
Let's go with Talik because you've been here before. So Talik, you're on JV, and then all of a sudden they come to you and say, "We want you to come to varsity." So my question is, does heart stop right then, or does heart start beating faster that I get to come to varsity now?
When they said that, it dropped a little bit, but I was really excited that I was going to be able to play varsity.
Yeah, I've been there before where they're like, "Gladden, you're going to play varsity this week." And you're like, "Hey, thanks, coach." And then and then you go back to your locker and you're like, "Holy crap, what's that Friday night thing?" No, I'm going to tell you, you've done well. I mean, being able to come up and so far, I mean, game scores and all that side. What's the most fun that you're having at the varsity level? And you can say practice. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Really, just how the games are a lot faster than they were on JV. It just all the fans there too. It just seems a lot better.
Awesome. No, awesome. Go ahead.
Now, in the game, what's the difference? On JV, of course, players are bigger, faster, and stronger. Is that what you see? Are they as fast as you thought they would be on the varsity? Are you saying, okay, I can play with them?
They are a lot faster, but they're also a lot stronger too. It's a lot harder to break tackles.
So would the strength be the biggest difference in JV and varsity sport, what you run up against?
That's what I would think.
Well, let's ask Hunter real quick. Now, if you had to grade Talik right now, what you've seen as wide receiver, how would you grade him so far after a few games?
No, he's especially getting caught up in JV. You know, obviously you expect him to be a lot, slower. It takes him a while to learn it. But Talik's picked it up really quick. He's been able to just, get out there and play. You can tell he can just play ball, He just gets out there. And like I said, you wouldn't expect him to pick it up as fast since he came up from JV, and especially coming in later in the season. But he's picked it up a lot quicker.
Well, Talik, what about you having a chance to watch Hunter out there playing? Have you picked up some things, maybe learn some things from him?
Every time I have a question, I always go to him first because he's always been playing it. He's been the leader of the team, so I like to go to him. And
I'll tell you, I was telling you, the Grissom game, I thought, especially first half, I think that's the best game I've seen you play in your career.
I appreciate it.
Were you in the zone, or like a zone you get into? It's just like everything was going right for you.
Yeah, I was just feeling good, It's one of those things I just felt like I get out there and play. I was loving the weather.
So you like the way you got?
No, yeah, I liked it. It was a lot cooler.
Punting into wind like that, how tough was that?
Oh, that was punting in general is pretty rough for me. I can't lie to you.
At least a man's honest.
Exactly.
No, I ain't gonna lie to you.
No.
What I do like though is when it does clear the line of scrimmage, the way you kick it, at least it rolls another 20 yards. So,
it might not get about 3 foot off the ground, but it'll roll a little bit.
I think the soccer coach is actually looking at you during the spring.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Hey, let's get Talik, put this on Draven for just a second. So, Barry, believe it or not, I actually had the opportunity to coach this guy and coach this guy. So I coached Hunter Smith, and then Draven was all on our little football team. So it's kind of, for me, it's kind of fun to watch these guys. Like I'm looking over here at Draven, and I'm like, write your name down. He writes his name down, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, he didn't have that much hair, and he wasn't that tall. And but so same thing. I mean, it's fun to watch you, and it was great, coach. Look at that. There it is. There's the old team, coach.
Jordan just posted it the other day. Actually,
that's our team.
Reminiscing.
That was a lot of fun. That was a great season. We had a good time.
Played center.
You played center. It's exactly right.
Center.
So Draven, talking about being on varsity football now. So we asked Talik about you playing varsity football now. What's that like? What's the most fun you're having on varsity football Friday nights?
The most fun for me is just like being able to get out there, and like Talik said, just the atmosphere is so much different and fast paced, and like the fans cheering you on, and you have the band going. Like it's hard to understand sometimes, like a car or something, but the band going. But it's just amazing, like the atmosphere.
I think up in the booth we called your name more just 2 weeks ago than we had all season. It's like you seem to have maybe your best game of the season. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just at the start of the season, I feel like I wasn't as physical as I am now. Like I was more scared and timid because like last year was my first year back playing since Pee Wee. So everyone was like obviously a lot bigger.
I scarred him, Barry. That's why you come back to Pee Wee.
And especially in 7A, like the linemen are huge. But I just think I've got more aggressive as the season's progressed.
As those weeks have progressed, though, Draven, and like I said, sometimes after you've been off 2 or 3 years, you come back to play football. I mean, yes, you're rusty, but in your mind, you know what's going on, right? You were there. But what is it that you think specifically, like over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it just kind of clicked? Like all of a sudden, like, yeah, I got this.
I just feel like playing with my team, like, and techniques that we've been taught at practice, I've really learned how to get off a block better than just going and attacking full man and then starting to attack half man and just getting off the block on those big linemen.
Go back to last year, the off season. Coach Browne really preaches about the weight room. Can you tell a difference in you from the last season to this season?
Yeah, it's so back before, like when I first started football, I could barely bench like a 10 and a 5. Now I can bench 205 for like 2 reps. So I can tell a drastic difference. Like Coach Hofford, he's got us right in the weight room, and I've just told a big difference in all my weights.
What about you, Hunter? In the weight room, can you tell a big difference in the past year?
I can. It's been, especially in the summer, they hit us pretty hard with it. So,
what's the biggest difference here? Speed or strength or a combination of all of it that you can tell from last season to this season for you?
I'd just say overall. Just overall, I feel like I've just been better as a player,
Just wish we had another year of eligibility. Can we redshirt in high school? I think we need a redshirt.
Hey, I'm supposed to be in their grade. I'm young for my grade.
That's right. We need to redshirt him somehow.
Let's ask you, if high school had like an NIL deal that somebody come in and say, we want you, who would you want to maybe you be a spokesperson for? What product? If you got one.
Let's see. I mean, I do use some.
Coach says hair care here.
I'm not going. I'd love me some free Chick-fil-A every now and then. Burritos, you know what I'm saying?
What about you, Draven? If you could pick something, you're going to be the spokesperson for what product?
I'm going to go with Hunter food. Just any kind of food would be great. Just getting that free food or something.
Yeah, pass it over to Leak here. We'll get to Leak's thought on this. So what about it? All the college guys got all these deals. What about you? If you had to pick something, you say, okay, you're now the spokesperson for this product.
I'll do something with shoes.
Shoes?
I'm a shoe person. I like shoes.
So let's see the shirt. You got the Nike on there.
Yeah.
So you a Bama fan?
I am.
What happened to him Saturday, Talik? Hunter?
Let's go ahead and change the Y'all are going to get me heated on the radio.
Yeah. Them smart kids got after y'all.
I'm going to need to just end the conversation here.
Yeah, that was not good.
Listen, I'm not saying a whole lot because I think Auburn's got them in about 3 weeks, and I'm not, what a boomerang thing?
I don't want to hear a word about nothing Auburn.
We'll ask Coach Browne. I don't know the last time that Bama, Auburn, and Tennessee have all three lost in the same weekend. I can't remember the last weekend that's happened. They all three lost on the same weekend.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Because usually, one of the three usually wins, but Tennessee upset. Arkansas got them. Georgia, that you kind of saw that coming, but all three in the same weekend, I don't think that's happened in probably many years.
I don't know. I didn't know them, but you're right. Arkansas did beat Tennessee, didn't they? Wow. Yeah, that's a crazy weekend in football.
So what about this week coming up again? Going to be at Huntsville. Road games playing at Milton Frank. Does it bother you? I mean, you love playing at home, of course, but.
I love playing at home, but I like playing different places. I'm one that I like to see new stuff and do different things, So I think it's cool playing in different atmospheres, different stadiums.
Yeah.
They have that big, they got that big stadium they all share up there. So I like it. I'm a fan of it. So I'm ready to play.
So what have you seen about Huntsville? Watching them?
Well, the real heavy run, and they got me walked down at backer now. So, and I'm at the point in my career where I just like to hit people, obviously can't do that when I get in the real world. I go to jail. So, I'm ready for it because they're a pretty heavy run team. So, pretty excited to play.
Gotcha.
When you look at their running backs, obviously they got a stable of them. I mean, there's 4 of them that are interchangeable, but there is one lead dog in that pack. That's number 34, Lewis Spencer. And one thing when I look at him, Hunter, and Draven and Talik, when y'all are all out there playing, this guy, he's hard-nosed, man. He is coming downhill. He's coming at you in a hurry, and he averages about 4.5 yards every time he touches the ball. He just went over, I think, 600 yards. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're sharing time with 3 other backs, 600 yards is a lot. When you think about that stable of running backs, right? And you know that there's 4 of them coming at you, and all 4 of them are really similar the way they run the ball. It seems like that defensively, if they're all 4 kind of similar, it makes it a little bit easier of how you're versus a downhill thumper back versus a slashing kind of back. Talk to me about being on the defense and having 4 that are real similar in the way they run the ball.
I just make sure, and I don't care which one it is, I just make sure the first time I see them run the ball, no matter where they're going, I'm going to hit them hard, and I'm going to hit them straight in the face, too, because I want them to know like, I'm going to be there. I want them to think twice about running through the middle, you know. I want them to see me and think, oh, I need to make a move. Because, like I said, if I go hit them hard straight in the face one time, they ain't going to want to run to me again. So it's just, especially all them, you know, they're not the shiftiest. Obviously, they can make a move, but, you know, I don't really have to worry about tackling them in the open field. They're going to try to run me over, which I like that because I'm going to try to run them over too. So I like it. Makes it easier on me.
Well, Talik, what about you? CJ may not be playing, so Parker, not as many reps. Is it going to be in your mind I may have to do a little bit more of helping him out, coming back to the ball and things like that Friday night? Just because he hasn't had as many reps as CJ has.
Yeah, he hasn't played as much as CJ has, so he might be a little more nervous going into the game. So, when he throws the ball, I might have to adjust to it more than I normally have to. But I think he'll do good.
Well, John, I noticed here says Draven is listed as 184. He may be 194 after eating this baked potato.
He's got at least a 10-pound baked potato right there. You're on.
I'm going to have to change the stats on it. Well, Talik, pleasure having you here. You're playing great since you've come up, Hunter. You've had a great season, man. Keep it up. And Draven, nice to meet you. I look forward to seeing you Friday night. All right, Coach.
Playing center next year, right?
Yeah. All right, we'll take a time out to come back with more here. Always come out and join us Tuesdays at Local Joe's here in downtown Albertville. It's the Coach Browne Show here on Power 107.5.
It's football time in Alabama. The players are hitting the field, the cheerleaders are firing up the crowd, the drum majors striking up the band, and we all stand for the national anthem. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. While you cheer your favorite team this season, I'll be on President Trump's team shaking things up in Washington. When we stand on conservative principles, it's a win for everyone. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Touchdown on savings this week at Foodland Plus in Albertville. Preferred Angus beef boneless ribeye steak, family pack $11.99 a pound. Fresh 73% lean ground beef, $3.29 a pound. White, red, or black seedless grapes, $1.99 a pound. U.S. #1 jumbo Idaho potatoes, 8-pound bag, $4.99 each. Oscar Mayer bologna, red rind original or super thick, 16 ounce, $2.99 each. Coke or Dr. Pepper products, 6-pack half-liter bottles, 3 for $12 at Foodland Plus in Albertville.
Attention football fans, this season don't let slow internet make you miss a single touchdown, tackle, or triumph. With our gigabit fiber internet, you get blazing fast speeds that keep you in the game. Stream every play in crystal clear HD. Blitz through online stats and video chat with fellow fans, all with zero lag. Don't fumble your connection, score big with our unbeatable fiber service. Call FTC and get your gigabit fiber internet just in time for the big game. Stay connected, stay ahead, stay unstoppable. Visit farmerstel.com or call us at 866-638-2144. FTC, we keep you connected.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones, your hometown trusted choice insurance agency. Randy Jones and Associates knows the playing field, and we have been proudly serving communities across North Alabama for 46 years. Having the right protection on the field is important. The RJA team of experienced agents will help you find affordable, customized insurance coverage for your family, business, and future. Stop by a local Randy Jones Associates office for a free, no-obligation quote or complimentary policy review.
And welcome back to Local Joe's in downtown Albertville, the Coach Bert Browne Show. I tell you, I wish I had Hunter Smith's confidence when I was that age.
Yeah.
He's a good interview.
He's got confidence, that's for sure.
Well, let's talk about Huntsville coming up this week. I had a week off to be playing out in Huntsville. John, you've had a chance to watch them on game film. Of course, Coach has. So how does Huntsville compare to some of the teams you've already seen this year, Coach?
Well, everybody's bigger than we are. But it's one of those deals where, we're going to have to get a couple turnovers to help us out and a couple big plays for us offensively or in the kicking game to get us some momentum going and some confidence. But they're a good football team. I mean, they've played some teams close. I think, was it Sparkman? Beat them 14-12 or something like that, and so they've got some skilled guys. They've got a good size offensive line, and we just got to fly around defensively. And we've been playing pretty good defense. I mean, we've given up some big plays here or there, but for the most part, defensively, we've been playing fairly good, I think. But right now We're so young in the front on our offense that it's hard for us to run the ball, and so we try to get the ball out of our quarterback's hands quick, and But it's one of those things. I mean, we just got to go and hope that they can turn the ball over some. And now they're very well coached. They're smart kids. They're not going to beat themselves for the most part. So we need some breaks to go our way and a couple 3 turnovers. And we've done a fumble circuit this week. We're learning how to. When we did that during the season, we've done that, and so I told Derek, I said we need to do that every day this week because obviously we have a problem getting on a fumble, and so hopefully some of those things can go our way.
Coach, you were talking about the offensive line that they have, kind of a big offensive line, and you're right. And one of the things that I noticed when I watched film about Huntsville, it kind of reminds me of just old school football. I mean, they look to run first, and they want to smash you in the mouth and come downhill. They average about 190 to 210 yards a game rushing the ball, right? Yeah. So when you look at that, but to me, once again, their offensive line is about 6'3", 241 across the front. So they get behind the big hog mollies and they come at you. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I also noticed is they have a sophomore quarterback, right? And sometimes he makes good reads, sometimes he doesn't. But in those moments where he's going to have to pass the football, I just don't think they're as confident in his arm as they are the run. No. Because, as Hunter said a few moments ago, that they're kind of heavy on the run, light on the pass. They only average about 92 yards passing per game. The question I'm going to ask you is does Albertville stack the box and just say, hey, we're going to play man out there, and if you beat us, you beat us, but we're going to stack the box?
We've basically tried to do that a lot of games, is play some man free stuff and get after them, and because trying to create us on the move instead of us trying to sit there and hold a gap on defense, because we can't, because we're just not big enough. So we've tried to do some of that stuff, and I'm hoping that he throws it to the wrong team a couple of times when they do throw it, and maybe we can get a pick six. So we'll see.
Coach, speaking of, now let's flip to the other side of the ball. Obviously, they like to do the same thing. They like to kind of crowd the box and make you have to throw it. Mm-hmm. Maybe even a little that task a little more daunting this week if CJ's not able to pass protocol and you have Parker out there. But the two really that kind of get my eye when I watch that entire defensive unit is they got a defensive end, number 8. His last name is James. And then you've got number 90. I think his last name's Chobe. He might even be like a German exchange student or something. But, Barry, those guys, they're averaging 10 tackles, 3 sacks, and 6 quarterback hurries a week. When you know that you got 2 dominants out there on the end, how do you go about it? I mean, I know your offensive tackles are going to need a little bit of help.
Yeah, well, and we try to chip with the back and do some of those things. So, it's one of those deals where – gee whiz, I mean, we slide protect and help with the back on the edge, and we're going to have to do some of those things. And we do some max protect stuff with 2 backs, and we're going to have to do some of that, and to help up with our guys up front. So we'll definitely have to worry about our protection with our running backs. We'll definitely have to do that.
Talk about some of your position players. First of all, your receivers. From game 1 to, say, now, you've got some very young receivers, and you can see improvement. What are you seeing in the young guys?
Yeah, well, I think we've got to block better. I mean, Hunter is a devastating blocker. He does a good job, for the most part, blocking. And so our young guys have got to realize that's part of the gig, I mean, I tell them all the time, I go, you watch the NFL. Those guys, they block in the run game, because if they don't, it's NFL, which stands for not for long. They're going to get cut, because they're not throwing it 60 times a game in the NFL. And so I try to impress that on these young guys. Those guys are great blockers in the NFL. They're great route runners. They're fast. They can catch. But they also take great pride in blocking. And so we've got to do a better job blocking.
What about the offensive line? Very young, but I know you had one big injury right in the beginning of the season.
Yeah. We battles, he tore his ACL, and he's rehabbing and doing all that stuff. So he, he comes to school every day, and he's there every day watching. And but we're young in that offensive line, and sometimes we're not aggressive like we need to be. I got on them today a couple of times, and I got on Kellen Hampton one time, and I got all over him. And the next play, he just killed somebody. When I was like, Kellen, you can do that all the time. And I think with young guys, they don't understand. I think sometimes they don't understand what they really can do. And that's what I told him after I got on him. I said, man, you can do that all the time because you have that ability. But when you're a puppy, I mean, those things just don't. It's just that's something that get maturity and growing up and those kind of things. It really helps. If you're older and our guys, those Kellen and some of those guys are going to be big human beings now. Kellen's he's a sophomore, and he's going to be a big old kid, and he's moving his feet better, and we get on him about that. Move your feet, but all of them up there, I think sometimes they really don't think that they can do what I know what they can do, and that's just part of growing up and being young, and you're playing against some very good players. And, you got sophomores going up against pretty good players. And, last night we played a JV game at Grissom, and we won the JV game last night at Grissom and played some of those guys, a lot of those guys that have to play for us on Friday night that are sophomores and juniors that a lot of the sophomores are having to play for us on Friday night, played in that JV game last night. We won that JV game. And I just look at that, and that's one of the things I try to tell these younger kids, the middle school kids and our younger guys. You all don't understand right now. You're playing with 8 seniors when we should have 30 in 7A football. Next year, we're probably going to have 26 or 27 seniors, because we got a big junior class, going to have a big sophomore class. And that's what I tell them. Some of these guys, most of them shouldn't have to be playing on Friday night. They should be backups on Friday night and getting to play, start on JV and do all that stuff. And, if we could take the guys, like last night in the freshman and the JV game against Grissom, we didn't play Hugh Gensley because he's going to be our starting tailback Friday night, a freshman. And imagine if him and CJ were playing on the freshman team. We'd be undefeated. And our freshmen. And that's what I keep telling the young guys. I go, we're playing some of your teammates are having to play varsity, so they're not getting to play with you right now. That's why you guys, but it's getting everybody a lot of reps, and you just got to keep believing that this thing's going to happen for us. And we got to stay positive. And I know, and I told the kids today, I know it's hard. It's hard for me, and I'm a grown man. I've been through a lot of football, and it's tough mentally. It's tough. Losing takes a toll on you mentally, but like I told them, and I've told them again, they're learning more about life right now here than those kids at Thompson that are winning every Friday night, because these guys are going through a lot of adversity. They're young kids. They're having to go in that school, listen to people in the school say, but they're going out there. They're coming out to practice, and they're playing in games, and they're in the arena. They're in the arena, and the people outside that arena, they don't understand it, and they're not in that arena, so they don't have a right to say something to these kids that are, and they're working. I've got a lot of respect for our football team, the kids that are out there doing this, because they love the game, so, I'm proud of them. It's frustrating for me and the coaches and the kids. It's frustrating for us all, but, I always try to remember these guys are having it's tough on them, but they are working hard and they fight their butts off, and they never give up.
Well, that talent-wise, players we haven't seen yet. I know we're seeing a lot of young players are on the varsity, but last night freshman team, some of the JV players, and like 7th, 8th graders.
Yeah, we've got
coming up.
Yeah, we got a bunch of kids in the 7th and 8th grade class that are very good football players. We got three quarterbacks down there that can play. Eighth graders right now that all three of them can play, and you can only play one quarterback at a time. But that's what I've told the middle school guys. Guys, you never know what growth spurts you're going to hit, how tall you're going to be, how big you're going to be. You stay with it and keep playing, and you never know. And I tell CJ and Parker, these eighth graders, they're gonna press you for playing time one day, and you're gonna be in a battle.
Yeah,
because there's some quarterbacks down there that can play, and there's some other guys at other positions that can play. There's size in the middle school. We got some size in our freshman class. We got some size in our sophomore class. So it's coming, but you got to recruit the hallways. You got to you got to talk to kids about playing, and I know it's tough. Because how many kids want to play when you're getting beat every Friday, but I keep telling them and keep saying, well, part of that and to get that better is for everybody to play that needs to be playing. And then all of a sudden you're part of the group that turns something around and you're going to be a big deal when you're 50. They bring you out here, I'll be dead and gone, but they'll bring them out on that field and at halftime and say, this is the group that started what became Albertville football as we know it, you know.
Coach, we'll take one last time out, come back and wrap things up. It's Coach Bert Browne Show here on Power 107.5.
Attention football fans, this season don't let slow internet make you miss a single touchdown, tackle, or triumph. With our gigabit fiber internet, you get blazing fast speeds that keep you in the game. Stream every play in crystal clear HD. Blitz through online stats and video chat with fellow fans, all with zero lag. Don't fumble your connection, score big with our unbeatable fiber service. Call FTC and get your gigabit fiber internet just in time for the big game. Stay connected, stay ahead, stay unstoppable. Visit farmerstell.com or call us at 866-638-2144. FTC, we keep you connected.
Attention North Alabama, Drew Epperson here with Sand Mountain Toyota. Are you in the market for a new ride? Look no further than Sand Mountain Toyota, where excellence meets affordability. From sleek sedans to powerful trucks and SUVs, each Toyota is a 5-star favorite, and even our pre-owned inventory is guaranteed to exceed your expectations. Come see me or give me a call at 256-878-0789 and say you want to drive with Drew, where customer satisfaction drives me.
Albertville Discount Pharmacy has been providing prescription and healthcare needs to the Sand Mountain area for over 30 years. With 3 pharmacists, Amy Honey, Brett Hogan, and Eddie Campbell, you will feel the confidence their staff provides. They want to be your pharmacy. Phone 256-878-1515 or come by Albertville Discount Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy at 422 North Broad Street in Albertville.
It's football time in Alabama. The players are hitting the field, the cheerleaders are firing up the crowd, the drum majors striking up the band, and we all stand for the national anthem. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. While you cheer your favorite team this season, I'll be on President Trump's team shaking things up in Washington. When we stand on conservative principles, it's a win for everyone. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Welcome back. Here in downtown Albertville. Come out and join us again next Tuesday from 6 to 7, and we'll be on the air coming up Friday night at Milton Frank Stadium in Huntsville, starting at 6:30 with the pregame show. Let me ask you a question, Coach, about the region. We talk about this every year. We have good region teams we play, but something happens when the season's over. It's like Birmingham region. I don't understand. What's the difference that you see between
I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, they got some
real dudes.
Yes. But, I've always, if I had some of the size that, like if I had the size Austin had, okay, you got to, you can't do what Thompson does and beat Thompson. You got to do something different. So you can't be in one back spread, one back. If we can ever get it going here to where we're big up front, you're gonna see a lot of eye out of me. Power, counter, ISO, downhill toss, and then the downhill toss. That's about all the running plays you need. Now your kids are physical. Now, and teams with all them players, because I've had football teams that were more physical than anybody we played, but we weren't as talented, but we beat teams that were much more talented because they don't like getting hit in the mouth. And so if it was me and I had them big old hog mollies, we would be a very, very physical football team, and we'd punch people in the mouth and get downhill in the run game. Now when you go down there, have they seen that? No, because nobody gets in the eye and runs power, ISO, counter anymore, and the downhill toss and the toss. They all want to show everybody everything they know and spread and do all that stuff. So the physicalness of football isn't what it used to be. Well, in my opinion, like I say, I would try to do something a little different and be more physical. And we got teams in our region that have some. I mean, we're fixing to face them here pretty soon.
Is that something that Fife figured out years ago why they've been so successful?
Yeah, I mean, Fife just got a bunch of tough kids that they get on you and punch you in the mouth, and they're so physical and they hit and they're used to it, and they got tough kids, man. I mean, that's part of it. They got some dang dudes that aren't afraid to hit people, and but yeah, I don't think you can compete with that Birmingham region unless you got an SEC quarterback spreading the ball out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if you got one of them dudes playing quarterback, it's a different story. But some of the guys in our region, if I had some of that size that they had, I'd definitely, you'd see a fullback in my offense that would come down and punch somebody about a 215-pound kid that would go ISO on linebacker, and let's see how you like that, because they don't see it. Nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Coach, final question from me, I guess, for the evening is, we're I guess, about 2/3, at least a little bit further than halfway in the season right now, and you're going on the road. Then you get to come back for 2 weeks back home, and then you got Guntersville. And yes, it's a road game, but it's just right down the road.
Yeah.
But you talk about the youth of our team. Is it still? I guess what I'm asking is early in the year when you go on those road games and you see some of those young guys and their eyes are big and the whole 9 yards. On the last couple of road games that we had and going into this one, have you seen those guys grow up a little bit where the road game is not that daunting to them anymore?
Well, that 2.5-hour bus ride we took to Florence was sheesh.
Yep.
And so a little 45-minute, 50-minute drive over to Huntsville won't be too bad.
Yeah.
So, it's not like, we play at home. There's a good crowd. You go over there, Huntsville probably have a decent crowd, but nothing like we get in our home games. And
right.
So our kids are used to playing in front of good crowds, big crowds at home and stuff. So, it's one of those deals where, golly, we've played so many young guys the last 2 years that by now the freshmen or sophomores that are playing, the sophomores are juniors, the juniors are seniors, and the seniors are freshmen in college, because these guys have played so much football and had to play. The young guys have had to play. So, and it's unfair to them that they have to play right now, but that's just the cards we're dealt right now with the small senior class.
You know what I think? Somebody asked me that question, and I was going to ask it to you, and my answer to him was, I think it's a double-edged sword. I said, because number one, they're young, and they go out there, and here's big Milton Frank Stadium, and it's got the board, and the same thing at Florence. And I said, but think about this. I said, when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, I said, you're a goofy kid. You don't know any different, right? Yeah. You don't know that you're supposed to be daunting, right? You're looking around like, wow, look where I'm getting to play. Yeah. And I think that's what our kids have done, because it was fun. I mean, obviously the score wasn't fun, but it was kind of neat to watch our kids. I mean, I thought they responded well on at Sparkman. Yeah. I thought that obviously there was, for a while, we were hanging in there with Florence for a little while.
Yeah.
And then, it's just like I said, the mistakes that you've talked about. But once again, I really like that no matter where we've been on the road, the youth hasn't, the moment hasn't been too big. And I think that's because they're young and they're like, hey, look where we get to play this Friday night.
Yeah. And we make some freshman, sophomore mistakes, but it's not because it's a big stadium or whatever. Sometimes I tell them, I go, you guys need to watch football on Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
Learn about the game. it's like we kick off and we run from the ball like it's a snake, and if we get on it, it's our ball. I mean, I just don't. Of course, I was a football junkie when I was growing up. I watched football. My dad had coached high school football. He played college football, and I loved it, and I would watch it all. On Saturdays. Of course, when I was growing up, there was about 2 games on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I never forget. I think the USA Network had the Illinois game taped at like 11 o'clock on Saturday night. And
so you watch the fighting line?
I would watch the fighting line. They'd come out there, and that guy had that spear, and he'd stick it in the ground. I was like, man, that is cool. And I'll never forget my 8th and 9th grade year. I would watch Illinois, I think at 11 o'clock at night on the USA Network. They would have the Illinois game.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you Friday night.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and like I say, we get out there with these guys, and that's the thing about these kids. They keep on fighting, they keep on keeping on, and we just need some breaks to go our way. Maybe we'll get a pick 6, and that JV game was very fun last night over there at Grissom to win. We scored with we were down 6-0 with 1:25 seconds left, and Trey Bright stripped a guy and took it to the house about 22 yards, stiff-armed the guy to get in. And then Zach Jenkins threw a touchdown to Tay Prater with about 10 seconds left, and we beat them 12-6. It was pretty awesome.
Maybe we'll see the same thing Friday night.
Yeah, man. I hope so.
Appreciate it, Coach. Don't forget to join us Friday night beginning at 6:30. The pregame show kickoff at 7 as the Aggies travel to Huntsville. So for another Coach Bert Browne Show, John Gladden, I'm Barry Galloway, and have a good night, everybody.